And today we're viewing the game otherwise known as Octodad Dadliest Catch. It's developed by Young Horses using the L.G.C C++ engine. It is $11.99 wet stinky cashes, $11.19 wet stinky euros, and I don't even know how that word's pronounced. So, you can check them out at octodadgame.com. It's available on Steam. All sorts of good stuff. And it is a open world invertebrate simulator where you wander around and knock stuff over. And it's pretty fun to look at. But is it fun to play? That's what we're going to find out today on Linux Gamecast Reviews. So, we have our crazy-ass review system. Ben, show them the chair explanation.
Brilliant. Chair explanation.
One chair means that it's fucking garbage. 2 chairs means that it's fucking meh. 3 chairs means that it's fucking good.
And you got a fat ass.
Means that it's really, really fucking good. So, we also have our categories: Doom, mixed with the working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. Mixed with the working is how it works, how it runs, how it operates under the Linux family of operating systems. Shiny and Sounds is about its auditory glitz and its visual glamour, and we'll see if that does any good. Controls is self-explanatory, and fun is also self-explanatory.
And subjective.
So, then, did Octodad Dadliest Catch make with the working?
Hang on, let's go ahead and get this out of the way.
Mm-hmm. Chug, 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 chug.
Tasty vitamins? No. Makes with the working on the Ubuntu, our minimum base test. Why do we have this? There's a good reason, because that is still, even though we have SteamOS, developers, this game just came out a few days ago. Minimum requirements, Ubuntu 12.04. So we have it, but this is an octo-core powered 770 juiced Masturbatotron box running 32-bit just for fun. Does it make it with the working? Well, the game actually froze up once, but in all fairness, just one time. Had to TTY. You might know that command, Control-Alt-F, fun, you know.
Control-Alt-F-U.
All right, basically. Find that. I kill 9 because that's just me. Steam Overlay currently doesn't make with the working because, fuck you, that's why. We didn't think about that. Or maybe we just didn't test it, but we'll get into that joyous business just a bit later. Just to round that up, I don't think they tested some things, but overall, mix with the working. Can't give it 4 chairs, but, you know, in general, 3 chairs. It deserves it. J-Man.
One thing Ven neglected to mention in his little mix with the working bit is controller support. And we're going to get into that a bit later under the controls section. But essentially, if you have not but a PS4 controller, you are shit out of luck if you want to play this with a controller. So that in itself, amongst the other faults with its lack of QA, is why I'm going to ding it a chair and give it 3 chairs, because it does work. You can play it. You can actually play it fairly well at a decent frame rate, but lots of stuff is missing. It is kind of Swiss cheesy in that regard. Pedro.
Yeah, the frame rate thing, we'll get to that soon enough. But on my end, and that's probably because I disabled the Steam overlay by default. I don't use it ever since I got to the second monitor. I don't see a reason to use it, so for me, it gets 4 chairs.
Alt tab.
Round it down.
Yeah, rounding time. That's 3 chairs for mix with the working. Decent score. Coming up next is Shiny and Sounds. Ven, did it tickle your eye pussies and delight your ear pussies?
Well, that's something I definitely want to bring up in this particular situation, because let's be honest, it's not the most graphically intensive game, but listening to my 770 scream inside the box, you would think it was made out of moon magic. Not the case, but I do want to touch on this. It doesn't matter how advanced your graphics are and how many shades of brown you manage to put on the screen at one time. Art direction is always more important than any of that business. if you like the art style and what it's going for, it doesn't have to be the most amazeballs thing to ever enter your eye pussies. And this, I like the art direction. It is not, over the top in any way. It's a bit cartoonish, but, it's static where it needs to be. Character animations, they work. And I just really dig the art style and can't hate on it. I mean, you're not going to go, wow, this is, what is it, 12-year-old Screaming Get Simulator 14, but for what it is and what it's going to be, and then they're aiming for that PS4 gold money. I'm going to give it 3 cheers. J-Man, were you tickled in special places, baby?
Well, I do agree with you about the art direction. I think they did a pretty good job with it. It's cartoony, but the nature of the game sort of mandates that this has a cartoony look and feel.
Well, you didn't want like a realistic...
No, I wanted to see an actual mollusk like try and grip on things. But
and die from lack of oxygen.
The art direction is pretty good. The sound design is also all right. However, in terms of just eye pussy tickling, it's even when I have everything cranked up to max on my Fedora 20.
You really got to cut that anti-aliasing on, or it looks like absolute rubbish.
Yeah, you just crank everything up to max. Even then, it kind of looks a bit meh, all things considered. And while it's not the most graphically demanding game, I can't really give it 4 chairs. I'd be tempted to give it 3 chairs, but even with my stupidly powerful 670 super clock driving it still looks a bit, let's call it fuzzy. So I'm going to give it 2 chairs for shiny and sounds. Not bad, not terrific either, but it's right in the middle. Pedro.
Yeah, so this is when the problems actually started showing up. Namely, shadows appear as quivering pixels. You don't see a shadow cast below an object, you see a bunch of flickering pixels just here and there, and it gets annoying.
Wait, is quivering pixels your safe word?
Quivering pixels makes a good band name.
It does.
It does. Okay, so then it has the same weird full screen bug that early Steam Linux games used to have, that it full screens to a single screen and then disables the other one. And that's annoying as balls, because that shouldn't happen, and this isn't 2013 anymore. That shit doesn't fly around here. And even on the lowest settings, in fact, it doesn't matter if I have it on the highest settings or the lowest settings, the frame rate every now and again will get choppy as balls. I think it's got something to do with the lighting, because in the tutorial level, when you flick the disco lights on, it became pretty much unplayable. So they have to fix that and optimize the game a little bit. 2 chairs for me.
And what type of system is that, P-Man?
It's an i3 370M at 2.4 gigahertz with an ADI 5650 HD using the open source drivers.
Brilliant. So, J-Man.
So yeah, that's 2 chairs for shiny and sounds, middle of the road. So, control. Now, here is where things tend to fall apart. Then, I know every day is just a hurricane of alcohol and tobacco abuse. But did you feel you were in control while playing Octodad?
It is brilliant. I mean, it's something that made me jump into their forums and say, gather around, chitlins. We got a small problem here. I'm just going to kind of read off the show notes just here. This game naturally is meant for the PS4, which I'm guessing some, wet stinky, exchanged hands, or something like that. So you see the PS4 graphic for the controller, because we all know, all Linux gaming, PC gamers, we immediately threw away our PS3, our PS2, our Xbone controllers, our Logitech F350s, and was like, oh, this is a brilliant thing. Then we waited 3 months and we finally got the USB driver and all that. That's exactly what we did. They understood that. Good on them. So, as a Xbox controller, just balls, man. It absolutely doesn't work. Nothing's mapped right. Get in there. I was like, I politely put it to him. I was like, oh, by the way, Xbox controllers are balls. Period. Then they got back, and I quote, "We're going to look into compiling Ilrich with SDL support to see if this better solves some of the issues." If the cartoon jaw could hit the floor when I read that, I was I didn't have anything clever to write, but I just got up, walked outside, had a pipe, and I was like, right, I like the color blue. I don't, my brain short-circuited because SDL2, it's a thing. Use that, problem solved. I know you only have 2 developers working on that, but it really makes me wonder whether or not you bothered to fucking test it, because you didn't. That's very clear. That said, keyboard, wireless gerbil, spacebar, 2 buttons, works like a charm, no issues. That's why, I can't give it 0 cheers because we're not allowed to, unfortunately. But I'll give it the 1 chair because that does work. J-Man!
So initially, I gave it one of these.
Giggity.
And then I gave it one of these. What? And unfortunately,
what did it give you?
What did it give me? It gave me shit.
It gave you the middle finger, that's what.
It gave me a big old fuck you. For those of you who are listening audio-wise, I just held up a PS3 controller and an Xbox 360 controller. I thought maybe, PS4 controller, PS3 controller. It's close enough. Nope. If you want to play this with a controller, it is PS4 or nothing. And really, what would make this game awesome is if you had like a sort of Wiimote get up. Or a PlayStation Move or something like that.
4 of them taped to all of your organs.
Or just cut me open and remove all my organs and then sew me back up and leave me to writhe. But keyboard and mouse is just really,
I have the
really
strangest
easy.
erection. Go ahead.
Yeah, you just honestly, if you're playing this with keyboard and mouse, you just power through everything, and eventually you'll get to the end of the level. It's a bit too easy, and I kind of really did want to play this with the controller because it looked like it would be fun with the controller. But alas, SDL2 is not an option for these people.
But they're working on it.
They're working on. They're going to recompile that engine, all right.
After they took
all day long,
30-something of our wet stinky caches. But yeah, boom.
Yeah, boom,
Yep.
boom. So that's 2 chairs for Control. Pedro.
Yeah, so it's mapped for the PS4 controller, right? So technically, it should work with the PS3, perhaps even
No.
the PS2 controller.
Nothing works. Nothing's mapped for the PS4 controller. Distance Alpha. They're like, it works with the PS4 controller. And I was like, well, that's one thing. Good.
But yeah,
Well,
like Jordan
Welcome
said,
to the Treehouse Population U.
Right.
Jordan tried it with the PS3 controller. It didn't work properly. I tried it with my DualShock 2 PS2 controller. It did not fucking work properly. Come on, guys. I mean, maybe Flip the G by Bow has gotten me to a point where I'm used to shit working out of the box. SDL2.
Wait, do you mean you actually expect controller support in a game that we paid 14 quid for?
They say on the box it supports all controllers. Obviously, that's a fucking lie.
Yep, pretty much. But yeah, maybe Flip the G by Bow has gotten me in the wrong set of mind for this game because I really wanted to play it with my PS2 DualShock, but it wouldn't let me, and I had to use the mouse and the keyboard, and I didn't want to. Granted, it works, but I didn't want to. 2 chairs.
So that's 1 full chair for Control.
As it deserves.
I'm not feeling in control. And finally, our subjective category, fun. Ven, did you enjoy yourself?
What? Oh, I did. Oh, we're just talking about the game. Sorry, I was kind of busy with something.
Making out with your guy friends?
Jesus and football, baby.
America.
Honestly, I wanted to when this came, we talked about this like week before last, and in J-Man and P-Man was like, wouldn't it be interesting to like play this game stone cold sober, like rah, screw it, then just get properly pissed on whatever substance you care for, because we're all drug addicts, and then try and be like, it's kind of fun. But I didn't rage quit from anger at any point of that. I raged quit from like, I couldn't get the controller to work, so it was keyboard and mouse. Like, that's stupidly easy. The wireless gerbil and keyboard, and I do say with an asterisk and an asteroid for being stupidly easy, and I'll qualify that in a moment. But because I'm really guessing if I could use, the X-Clone controller, it would add a bit of challenge to it, because no matter how wacky and zany the legs and arms are, I'm a high-functioning alcoholic, and that's not challenging to me. That's called...
Vet. How many bottles of wine have you drank so far?
12. Piss off. So...
Today alone.
This hour. So for fun, I'm going to give it 2 chairs, because that's it. I mean, for the price... Let's also, I'll save this for my final thoughts. So, J-Man, go ahead.
This game is actually more fun than it is any right being. It's kind of fun going around kicking shit over and roundhouse kicking people in the face. I enjoyed that more than any other aspect of the game. It's just like, oh, wedding cake. Fuck you, wedding cake. Oh, people. Roundhouse kick. Oh, wife. Punch in the face. But
now that's out of your system,
I can play this game.
He's single, ladies.
Yeah, you wonder why. It's really only fun in like 15-minute bursts, and then you kind of get bored of it.
Yeah,
it would make an interesting drinking game to see how far you can get, and every time you like screw up, you take a shot. And by the time it's all over and done with, you die of alcohol poisoning.
There we go.
2 chairs.
P-Man.
Yeah, so I'll admit that the game is funny, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there having a lot of fun, and it does have some...
Are you saying people are out there on Funland on their fun sickles having fun in Funsville, but...
Yeah, and it does have a cathartic element to it of just walking into a room and knocking everything out of the tables.
Otherwise known as Monday morning in the Stone household.
Yep, I can respect that, but
damn right.
On my end, performance was bad. Every now and again, the frame rate would drop to like a slideshow, and that's bad. Graphics had more than a few glitches. Those fucking quivering shadows were everywhere. And by the end of the tutorial
we'll be on tour in 2015.
I was done. I didn't want anything else to do with the game. And when that happens, that's not a good sign. 1 chair.
So I guess that's...
No calculator love in Portugal.
No calculator love at all. So that's 1 chair for fun. And if we tally up all our little itty-bitty scores, we get 1 giant cocaine Voltron score. That's really just 1 lawn chair out of the possible 4. So, final thoughts.
I'm going to start with that. My biggest final thought with it, the price, and this is something that you will see in the forums about this game, is price versus 4 hours, 3 hours, really, of gameplay. And, what is it, like 14 wet stinky, right?
12.
Yeah.
12, somewhere in there. And it was on a bit of a discount, so it didn't hit us too hard when we picked this up. I mean, donations, thank you guys. That's great, so we can bring you this train wreck and test it out on our systems before you spend that money. Again, that's a bad analogy. Don't listen to me. Brilliant, Vin. So, no, the time spent, it was like 3 hours for like 12 quid. It's like, yeah, maybe not so much. That, and it is ridiculously easy. If there was a hard mode, and mixed with the developers going, Oh, people outside of PlayStation 4 controller owners own computers? Please, sir, could you explain? And we're terribly sorry. And I don't like the apologies issued on, it was like, oh, it's okay, developers. And I was like, fuck you, developers. Seriously, I gave you money. You give me product. Now, the least you can do is fucking fix it. Now. I'm not going to go, oh, thank you for fixing it. No, fix it. This is not ever. I mean, you don't pull this BS onto Windows. Don't pull it into Linux. Boom, Mike.
It's a fun, stupid little game. Pick it up if you have some time to kill. I would hold out for Octodad 2 Big in Japan.
Or how about a Japan mode where you can just do that thing to the things?
Yes.
That's the
High school
joke.
girls. Good times.
That's
Right to the
joke.
schoolgirls, P-Man.
No, and now to
in
our resident
Portugal,
schoolgirl.
16
No,
is
Clonky, I
legal,
got it
so
right.
deal with
Tokyo Shaft.
But yeah, if you must, and I'm pretty sure some people will find the game fun. I have absolutely no question about it. But
You mean people
Wait
with
for a
computers powerful
sale.
enough to play it? Yeah.
wait for it to go on like 75% off or something, because as it currently stands, it's not worth the $12.
Well, that's it, really.
Yeah.
Octodad Dadliest catch. If it's on sale, buy it. Make up your own damn mind. We gave it the one chair with the asteroid, so that's that business.